Our investigative unit breaks that down now. Watch.
You can't have your tax increase, so I'm cutting taxes.
91 of the top corporate companies in America paid zero federal income tax.
Two very different tax plans are being presented to voters in 2020.
Did I hear that right? No, it's going to raise your taxes.
You are proposing several $1 trillion in new spending over the next decade. How are you going to pay for that?
By writing the tax code.
Team Biden making no bones about its planned tax increases. Maintaining those hikes are targeted.
If a guy like Biden gets in where he wants to raise your taxes quadruple,
They've taken my statement out of context.
We will not raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000 a year.
That's a guarantee, a promise.
You think it's a good idea to raise taxes when the economy is in dire straits?
Depending who you're raising them on.
One of the biggest differences between the two candidates, their positions on corporate tax rates.
A lot of Americans think that corporations don't pay their share of taxes and want to see those tax rates increase.
Right. Our corporate taxes were the highest in the world, and now they're among the lower taxes. And what that means is jobs.
He passed a tax bill benefiting the top 1% and the biggest corporations of America.
And neither side is backing down.
This election is a choice between a Trump super recovery and a Biden, in my opinion, this is going to happen. I hate to say it, depression.
We are in the middle of crises.
Moody's, a Wall Street firm, projected that my economic plan will create 18.6 million jobs in 4 years. 7 million more than his, and $1 trillion more in economic growth.
Biden's $4 trillion tax increase is a missile aimed at the heart of the middle class.
Oh, that sets the table for Steve Moore, an advisor, President Trump's 2016 campaign, and Austan Goolsbee, chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors under President Obama, our Friday Money team on the final Friday before the big vote. Gentlemen, good afternoon to both of you. We tried to lay it out in broad strokes there. Steve, what would a second term do for America and its economy?
Well, look, I mean, I can't stop smiling the last 24 hours because we had the greatest economic report maybe in the history of the United States yesterday. What a closing argument for Trump in terms of this, blockbuster GDP, and the unemployment rate is coming down. We got another huge number of people off unemployment. It was 15 million people off unemployment in 6 months. So I think Trump does want this to be about the economy. If it is about the economy, Bill, I don't think there's any question that Donald Trump will win. And what I could never understand about the Joe Biden plan, and maybe Austin can explain this, is how do you get more jobs and more growth with a $4 trillion tax increase? By the way, that's bigger than any candidate, Democratic candidate, has proposed, before John F. Kennedy. So
okay,
I just don't think the American people are going to buy it.
The lines are drawn. This is the debate. Austin, go for it.
Well, look, Steve's confused, and I'm not surprised. The thing is, the Trump tax cut, if Trump is reelected, he's going to do more of the same. And Steve views that that's a great success, and most of America does not view that as a success. We've got 27% of America saying we are on the right track. On the Trump tax cut itself, it has 32% approval. It is the most unpopular tax cut in the history of American polling. Precisely because people see it did not work. It was a giveaway to big corporations and very rich people.
What about Steve's comment about spending trillions of dollars?
Back and invest it in the middle class.
What about the $1 trillion spend, Austin? Answer that.
What about what?
The $1 trillion spend that Steve mentioned there.
The $1 trillion spend that President Biden would do are investments in infrastructure and investments in things that will help the middle class to grow. Cutting taxes even further, which the Trump administration has proposed $30 billion more tax cuts for billionaires. That didn't work the first time they did it. So we'd be far better off directing that money to the things that do grow the economy.
Steve, I'll give you a shot here. Again, in broad strokes, the market's down every day this week. COVID cases are up, but as you mentioned, the GDP number is up as well. What happens to all those factors? Do they cancel one another out, or does one stand out more than the other?
Well, we will see, Bill. I mean, if it's as Bill Clinton used to say, the economy's stupid, then obviously Trump will win the election. Look, the problem with your argument, Austin, about how our tax cut didn't work is that by the end of 2019, within 3 years, we had the lowest poverty rate in the history of the United States. We had the lowest unemployment rate in the history of the United States. We had the biggest income gains in the history of the United States. I mean, my goodness, how is that not a success?
Make it
Two
quick,
of those
Austin.
three are not even factually correct.
Yes, they are. We had the lowest unemployment rate, the lowest poverty rate, and the biggest income gains.
Quick answers, Austin.
Hey, those are not true. We did not have the biggest income gains.
Hang on,
we had
Steve.
a continuation of a boom, and now we have an out-of-control, bungled response to the disease that they continue to downplay and say it will go away like a miracle when it is bringing our economy to its knees.
Okay, gentlemen.
If you lose $100 and then get back 65, you're not better off, and that is exactly
A week from today, we'll find out who's right. Thank you,
And
Austin.
Bill, I'll get you those statistics because I'm right about those statistics.
Thank you,
I'll get them for
Steve. I'm out of time, but thank you for yours.